Let's talk about it.
They take me in cuffs and they bring me for a couple days or so. They want an arraignment. Arraignment, obviously, look at the word. They're trying to rein you in and get you in their jurisdiction. And I don't argue with them. They got their beliefs. They got their common practice. The majority of citizens want code, policy, and statute. So, hey, I'm not really mad about it. I get why it's happening to my body at times. That doesn't change the fact that I'm going to put it on record, on paper. This is who and what I am and what I'm not. This is what I was doing, and I have a right to do that, and I'll see you later. And I don't care if you put out warrants or anything like that. I'm going to continue on my life. I'm not interested in you guys' statute, policy, and code. Not interested in you hiring some inauthentic corporate male to speak for me that doesn't know God in and of the world. Not interested in any of it. Not combating it, not trying to overthrow it, not trying to move in on their action and their pimp game on the slaves. It's all by contract and consent, whether you know it or not. I'm just telling you who and what I am, what I'm not, what I'm going to do. And then I stand on that. I surrender the rest. They come and get me at some point, take me over there and don't let me go and say he's absconded and all the rest of these words and terms. We'll have the conversation again. Right? I can't live in fear of what they're going to do to me if I don't follow their nonsense. I'm in more fear of what God's going to do to me and take from me if I don't follow what the fuck is in my heart as true and right. That's the difference. These slaves got more fear of man in their costumes and playing their games and acts and nonsense at court than they got fear of their own conscience and what it's connected to. That's a problem. Scripturally, spiritually, ethically, right?
So let's take it from square one. You're in the cuffs. They take you to the cage. They book you. You're in the cage. And have you ever been before a judge in a courtroom?
Administrator, yeah, over and over again, half a dozen times. I got it to the point a couple times where I got them all on record, backed them down, and they said to me, well, what do you want to do? And a couple times I fumbled the ball because I was, once you start moving and you start getting responses from them and you start seeing you have the power, you get a little bit, comfortable and confident. You go from fearful to comfortable and confident. So I got them all the way to the point where the administrator said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know, because I've never really been in that position before. And he goes, well, do you even want to come back to address this? And at that point, I said, if it's a good expenditure of taxpayer funds, if you think that you want to keep wasting these people's money to have me here to prove you're wrong, we could do that. He goes, okay. He set it for another date. Then I contacted them after and said, I will not be returning to that date, right? Because again, I'm man enough and real enough to admit when you do everything you're supposed to and you get to a certain point and you drop the ball, and that's what it was. The point is, if you watch the Castro and these other people who claim to be law scholars and gurus, they can't interact with these administrators. They don't have the balls and they don't understand how it works. But they want to sell all this fucking product. It doesn't work for me. You got to be able to stand as a man and use common sense, if nothing else, and say, who's that? The people? What? You just put some state actor agent up and called himself the people? Is that Mr. or Mrs. People? We're going to get him to swear in today because I'm pretty sure I'm a man of the people. So I don't know how that person who's an agent of the state can stand up and say they're the people. I'm pretty sure that's me. Do you see the game, Brian? They flipped the script on everybody. So that's where DeCastro's attorney or he himself is supposed to say, objection. Who is this person? Are they going to swear in? I hear a disembodied voice at the court. Are you going to swear in? Because if not, you're calling yourself the people. I don't know what that is other than a fraud. I'm the people. I'm the sovereign, as the court of record defines. That's not my word. That's their word. Court of record defines the sovereign as the man or woman of the people who holds all the power to move the court. That is not a state actor or a public servant, an agent of a corporation. Are you kidding? You guys are duped. You're played. You're pimped out. And then you want to get in there and argue the beliefs and the fraud. You don't need to do that. You just need to point out who and what you are on the record, who or what they are, and show it for what it is. And that's when everyone's going to have their head twist around, like The Exorcist, right? Because they're going to go, oh, man, Brian or Paul or Jose knows what's going on here. You know that the man just stood up and tried to call themselves the people, but didn't swear in because they have no firsthand knowledge of the event. So they have no standing. They have no power to move that court. You got to knock them out of the box based on the basic rules of court from the beginning of time. You got no firsthand knowledge, you got no room to speak. I was there. I'm the one arrested. I have all the firsthand knowledge in the world. Furthermore, I am the people. So I will retain the power of this court to move this court unless another man or woman steps up and puts a claim on file. See how easy that was? but they don't have the knowledge of the balls to really just do that and stand on that and watch everybody go crazy.
Now let me say I don't know, something just happened to my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little low.
Oh man, what just happened? Oh, there we go. Are you familiar with Ernie Wayne Turgelty? You know who I'm talking about? Okay, so the way he did it, is that the way you would have done it?
Similar, probably not the same, because we all have our own individuated, like our personality way of communicating the truth,
right?
And the way that we understand it. But yeah, I would say from the little that I do know of them, similar, not necessarily the same, right? And same idea though, in essence.
And basically his argument wasn't even really an argument at all. It was just, hey, I'm a man of the land. You got me in here foraging for food. You don't have the right to do that. And he came out really, really hot and heavy against the judge.
Of course not. A corporation can't own anything. This is why your politicians want to keep duping you to believe that corporations are people too. They're more and more and more trying to get corporations and corporate entities to have rights that the men and women once believed they have, that they no longer accept that they have. They're flipping the script completely. So government can't own forests. Government can't own land, right? You need a man or woman to come on record with their word that they have a claim to that property from the beginning of time. A corporate entity with no men or women on record, they only have corporate entities within corporate entities. There is no man or woman within the government who's going to come to open court and swear that they have a claim to own that land. They can only hold it, upkeep it, and maintain it in trust for the men and women they serve. You folks don't understand how this system was meant to work and how it still operates if we would just use it correctly. You folks could all have pieces of land. I don't care if they're going to tell you the Homestead Act of 1860 is no longer valid. Bullshit. If some man wrote it then and it applied then it's based in truth and applies now. That's what truth is. It's eternal. Doesn't matter what you all understand or repeat. The truth is the truth, right? So the truth we come to know is that this is our land and God gave it to us to use, upkeep, and maintain and trust, right? The problem is men and women are not on record. So what does the government do? In God we trust. They're going to upkeep, maintain the land for men and women when they show up sometime, someday on record. They haven't yet. So in God, they're holding that land in trust. And it's only because the men and women on this land don't understand their status and standing and how to use the system and law to get what the fuck they want or need in life.
Man,
Donnie Trump knows how, Brian.
You mean Donnie
All you Republicards, real quick, Brian, I got a trigger. All you Republicards need to realize Donnie Trump knows the law. He's not going to tell it to you, but he's going to go use trust to keep all his assets in a certain jurisdiction where he don't have to pay tax. He's not stupid. So like they said, if Paulie Boy's smart, well, Donnie's smart. The problem is he ain't going to tell you how to be a lawful man, how to retain your rights. He's going to pimp on you, just like they all do, for his own benefit and his own gain. Go ahead, Bri.
I thought it was Donnie Chimp, but okay, I guess it's
yeah. Well, that's my candidate.
No,
I've run 2 elections in a row. My candidate, which is an orangutan, because I contend if we were to just elect a chimpanzee, everything would immediately get better. Because the chimpanzee would just want some bananas, an enclosure, and to be able to copulate. It's a very simple animal. It's not going to lie, cheat, steal, do wars around the world, embezzle, fraud. Things will get better immediately if you guys would just elect my candidate, Donnie Chimp, the orangutan. Think about it.
Okay, I'm going to play a snippet of what Ernie said here in the court to the judge. But before that, I want to give you a chance to respond to Harry Atkins. He said in the chat room, if Chile hadn't hired an attorney, the court could not have imprisoned him. True or false?
Potentially, to a certain degree, yeah, because when you prove on record you're non-compos mentis and you call yourself a law scholar, they're really going to look at you as bad faith and dishonorable. And when you bring in a legal counsel or the legal society to speak for you, he's essentially working with them to manage your estate. The court of record procedure says, by definition, the attorney has a duty to the court no less than the duty to its client. That means you're hiring this motherfucker thinking he's going to defend you and get you out. No, he's an intermediary. He's there to mediate. He's there to get everybody to be satisfied as best as possible. So what's he going to do? Well, DeCastro, you got off at 180. They could have put you in jail for 2 years. It's a great deal. It's not. right? So yeah, when you hire someone else to manage your estate, proving you're not the law scholar you claim you are, not only are they going to get jurisdiction to manage your estate, they're going to presume you to be bad faith and dishonorable, just as I do and would. You think there's any difference between my apprehension and the woman sitting on the bench, whether she loves police and is married to one or not? She knows a dishonorable, bad faith motherfucker, especially if she's married to one. Come on, man. It ain't about her and them. It's about you. What do you got on record? How are you presenting? What are you standing on? That's the man is judged by his principles, first and foremost, in a human experience. All the rest of the shit's extras.
Wow. Okay, so as soon as he turned the reins of it, basically, when you're hiring an attorney to appear before a judge in a court, you have abdicated your responsibility and you've turned the keys of your life over to another person.
Right. And that's the cornerstone of bad faith, dishonor, and lack of accountability, responsibility. You run around town filming police, yapping at the mouth, saying, I'm DeCastro, I'm an alpha male, I love getting arrested. Then you want to show up at court and let a motherfucker speak for you and cry? It don't go that way, bro. I don't care if it's court or not. In any venue, it don't go that way. If we meet at the local outlaw biker club, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to say you're running around town with the colors, claiming all this shit, and then when you show up here, you got a whole different energy, and you want to let another motherfucker talk for you? Why didn't you let that attorney talk for you out in the street when you were making all that money? See? They got no problem running their mouth when there's nothing but benefits and privileges. As soon as they got to stand on something and deal with sacrifice and consequences, oh, bring in the inauthentic corporate male to do the talking for me. Nobody respecting that. From any strata of life and society, nobody's respecting that. You can't ignore that. I don't care if you like me or not. That's common fucking sense.
So when you're sitting in that courtroom, the answer is act as take responsibility for yourself, whatever actions they think you committed, and act pro se.
Like they say on the street, Brian, keep the same energy. Keep that same energy. Either keep the energy you had in court on the street or keep the energy you had on the street in court. Don't switch up on everybody. Just be who and what you are and carry that over in every venue. Then you might get respect.
So there was a mixture. Let's stay with the Chili DeCastro thing. So there was a mixture there because he basically kept the same energy and then apologized for it when he called the cop a pig and gave the thumbs up to Zimmerman when she was saying, I guess you hate all cops in the United States. So he was doing two things there. He was keeping the energy he had on the street, and because he hired the, as you say, inauthentic corporate male, he was walking in hypocrisy.
And the point is, that's not the energy for court, Brian. I don't know you.
Right, but is that right there, what I said?
Well, yeah, you're right. But the point is that's why I'm saying keep the same energy that you have at court that it wound up as in the street, because you got to humble yourself. The reality is, if you really ain't about it and you're not going to go in that court and say thug life like Tupac and go do your time, you're going to cry on the phone every day or cry at court, you got no business presenting like that in any venue because you're faking the funk. So be a little bit more humble, have some humility, understand the dynamic, apply yourself correctly, and then surrender the outcome in consequences and sacrifice. Because you know what comes with this. Bro, I told that motherfucker and all these guys years ago, you need to downsize and you need to live within your means. I see how you guys live. You ain't ready. Then when you want to have to go do a 180 that you didn't expect, that's obvious when you're in activism and doing this, especially the way you do it, popping all that shit. You know that time's going to come. You should be preparing for that. It shouldn't be a shock to you. You shouldn't be clawing and scrapping and scraping when the time comes. If I got to go do a 180 right now, you ain't going to hear me on the phone whining and crying. I'm going to be doing sit-ups and push-ups and focusing on my conscious and awareness and my faith practice and bearing witness and testimony and doing ministry to drug addicts and criminals who need me more than anybody inside of there, right? You set yourself up in your life to live within your means, to do what your life purpose is and surrender the rest. I'm not in debt. I don't have monthly bills. I could go away right now. I'll have land and everything I need when I come out and then some. That's living within your means and living in abundance. You folks are living by your own meanings and you're living in loss and lack and abandonment and fraud. It's not equity. It's not trust. It's not faith. And it's why you're going to continue to generate suffering for yourself and others here. And that's why I have to speak so loudly about it. I'm not going to let these motherfuckers convince other people to buy these fucking products and act like them and wind themselves up in a civil war or having to do prison time and then whining and crying and acting like they didn't know what's up. You want to do this walk, you do what's true and what's right, you understand the dynamic, you speak for yourself, you surrender the rest, and you don't cry about the outcome. The Christed being had to go to prison over and over again and be killed eventually for what's true and what's right. Why the fuck do you think you're going to be any different is my question. A lot of arrogance in these motherfuckers, a lot of ego, too much for my own good. If you're going to be arrogant and egotistical, you better have damn good results. So there's no reason for that.
So you don't have any bills? You don't have a water bill, electric bill, or you're completely 100% off grid?
At this point, yeah.
Do you grow your own? Where do you get your food?
I mean, well, that's the thing. I mean, at this point, you know, and you'll have folks say that I live off other people and all the rest of it. I'm staying with a woman right now, right? There's property back where I just came from. I have everything I need and then some to get more property. I have the RV on that land, right? And I'm just kind of at this point, you know, I was doing what I was doing and kind of preparing over there. And then I met a woman, and, you know, last year or so, I kind of been sharing space with her, you know, helping her to get out of debt. She's got a new piece of land now in the forest. You know, she's going to put a modular home on it and be debt free for the first time, and live in paradise and grow on the land, essentially. So, you know, that's kind of what I've been doing, along with doing the broadcast every day, which, of course, you know, has become a livelihood on some level. So, yeah, man, I mean, again, it's not about like folks not working or, you know, becoming a broadcaster and being able to live off that, you know, or staying with other people. It's like ultimately, you dedicate yourself to whatever you do and whatever you work on, whatever your passion is in life or whatever your job is. But you just correct the status and standing, right? I don't get down on people for having an ethic and working hard. I have to do that to show up 500 days straight just to do a broadcast, even if it's not technically work. You know, so we should work hard, we should save, we should reinvest, we should be financially free and secure, and also we should live within our means, right?
Yeah,
and
I would just say that a worker is worthy of his wages, which comes out of the pages of the New Testament. But if you are broadcasting the truth, if you're disseminating knowledge, and that knowledge is helping people, I would say that that's probably some of the most worthy work you could possibly do.
And I've seen that where in my life I've actually done better. You know, I have a very low standard. I'm not college educated. I've pretty much done low level, blue collar, quote unquote, menial jobs all my life. You know, for various times and places. But I'm probably doing now better when it comes to value than I ever had working, you know, for other people in a system. And I attribute that to the law of the universe, which is trust and equity and faith. If you do what's true and what's right, and you show up for yourself and others every day, and you give it your all, right, and you help make a change in others, you're guaranteed value back. I couldn't see it any other way. Right. So nowhere in there does it require us working with corporations. If anything, it requires us working with and on other folks.
I'm gonna play this real quick. I'm just play a snippet of Ernie in this courtroom talking to this judge.
In violation of 457302, you were also charged on the same date with resisting arrest in violation of 457301 of the Montana Code.
Those men were charged by me right back by staging an overthrow of the Constitution of 1789, an overthrow of the Bill of Rights, an overthrow of my rights to forage for food as a natural living person who was in hunger. I was searching for something to put in my stomach, as I am recognized to be allowed to do by universal law. That's nothing to do with your corporate fiction. They violated everything, and furthermore, for your knowledge, they violated Judge Holly Brown's Title 26 United States Code ruling, which I went before her and prevailed on 21st March 2011. EP 09-58A is the case number wherein she evidenced that I am not a taxpayer because I am not a federal citizen. Federal law trumps state law at every turn. I have 9 judge rulings to that end.
Now, what do you think about that statement? Federal law trumps state law at every turn.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, ultimately, this is about inherent hierarchical power and value systems. And in every organization, there's a hierarchy. So, of course, the federal code is supposed to be written as objectively as possible, pursuant to the spirit of the law that is encoded in the constitutional contract that we are not a party of, right? You don't get your rights from the Constitution. You're not even a party to it. The way that it works is they swear to it. So the whole reason that they swear to it is so they're bound by it. Right? We get our rights directly from God. We're not a party to that Constitution. Every agent on this land is supposed to be a party to it because they're supposed to swear to it. That's how we keep them bound by their duties and obligations and not getting out of line. Because we always know what they're going to do. It's been the same game over and over again. So yeah, technically, if everything's working properly, the federal code is supposed to be a codification, supposedly for slaves to understand better the spirit of the law that is encoded in that constitutional contract that these agents swear to, right? But again, anytime that any code, anywhere at any time is written incongruent, right, and not pursuant to the spirit of the law that is encodified in that contract we call the Constitution, it becomes null and void and illegitimate. It's just like when the feds, right, it's not USC, it's not US code to my knowledge, but the feds supposedly through legislation have deemed marijuana to be illegal. They say, well, you can't have it and you can't sell it. Well, what did the states do with their states' rights? They said, no, this is a pursuance of happiness issue. This is a medical issue. This is a religious issue. So we're going to grow reefer and we're going to let adults trade it because the feds, nor can anybody in any costume, actors, deem the activity of men and women to be illegal or unlawful if there's no loss, injury, and harm occurred, and it's a pursuit of happiness / medical / religious issue. This is the same thing as the face coverings. It's the same idea. They could give you advisory code if it's not pursuant to the spirit of the law, that this is of and by and for the people, pursuit of happiness, absent some loss, injury, or harm, or direct threat. That's how even the U.S. code defines it. You have to have the preponderance of what's called a direct threat. You have to be able to establish a direct threat. You can't do that. Just saying we think everybody's sick or there's something in the air is not going to cut it, right? So again, they're using statute, policy, and code ubiquitously to overwrite common sense and common law to the point where now just yesterday, one of the cops said, common law is not a thing. It never existed. And it's like, you don't even know what to say after that. It's like all of this system and foundation of law is set up on what we call the common law, which is more of a philosophical spirit of the law and common sense more than anything.
What cop was it that said that? I'm not aware of that.
I don't even know the guy's name. One of these videos I played just yesterday that, another egotistical, prideful clown who thinks that they know how the law works because they went to some institution, right? It's like these people don't even know how to think properly and feel properly and live properly. But I'm supposed to believe they understand legal lawful.
So when Ernie says federal law trumps state law at every turn, how does that square with, say, the 10th Amendment?
The 10th Amendment specifically, I don't have it committed to memory. My understanding of the 10th through 14th Amendment, the loose understanding I have is public safety clause. The idea that if they can establish a direct threat to the public, that they have an ability to use that advisory code to maintain order. So again, if they can't establish a direct threat, but they're becoming a direct threat to the individual, especially if the individual, quote unquote individual, that's a whole other word. If the individual colloquially is on record as a man or woman on the land, then they retain their natural rights and the status of protected class. Right. So that's the whole point of that U.S. code and that federal code is to refer to the idea of the protected class, to revert the locals and the state folks back to their obligations, right, as upholders of the law and the individual's rights. So that's why everything has to be pursuant to that spirit / letter of that law. Because we know if not, they're just going to say you can't hunt, you can't fish, you can't move, you can't breathe, you can't copulate without following our statute, policy, and code. And we go, the whole point of why this is America is if you're not going to do what's true and what's right and follow that original contract that you're bound by, then we can alter, abolish / deem you to be illegitimate, right? I'm not looking to alter, abolish. I'm just going to put on record for whoever administrator is going to hear the case, who knows the law better than any policy enforcement, because I got half a dozen of them on record with me saying, we don't know the law. Mm-hmm. We've been doing this 30 years, but we're not law professors. Take it up with the courts. Okay, I will. And I'm going to put it on record over and over again that you guys are way out of bounds. And the only reason it's continuing is because the majority of my neighbors don't know who and what they are and what they're not and how to move correctly.
So at this point, we're not even talking about whether the Constitution is legitimate or illegitimate. We're talking about human beings who took an oath to make sure that they upheld the rights that are found at least in the Bill of Rights, correct?
Yeah, I mean, this is
And
conceptual.
the reason I ask you is because, I don't know, have you read any books by Lysander Spooner?
I've heard the name. I may have heard some quotes here and there, but I have not read the.
One of the things he said was, whether the Constitution be one thing or another, this much is certain: it's either authorized such a tyrannical government as we have, or it's been powerless to stop it. In either case, it's unfit to exist, because basically it's just a piece of paper that a lot of people like to step on. Would you agree with that assessment?
Right. The piece of paper is an original contract that we've laid down as the formation in order to keep these folks in line and to keep the republic, if we can keep it.
Right.
Right. We've lost it because of democratic ideals, propaganda, and the spiritual fall of man once again into a dark state of beingness.
Right, but they also like to change that contract, like in the Bill of Rights, the first 10th Amendment, first 10 amendments, and the amendments to the Constitution, like the 14th Amendment, creates a citizen class where we're subject to the jurisdiction thereof. You wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see that as anywhere near legitimate, correct?
Again, this is it comes down to what will they do, whatever you let them. Again, Brian, I'm the ghetto guy, right? I'm like, my channel's pimp on slave. So I don't hate the player. I like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm not going to hate either. It's a fascinating game. I contend we need it in order to know objectively right from wrong and become faithful again, if we ever were completely, right? So, hey, you want to like go in there, write something down, convince everybody that it's real and get them to act it out? Well, great game, great simulation. Oh,
Right.
again, if you act like a broken hoe, well, then when a pimp meets you, he's going to pimp on you. That's the rules of pimping. You don't pimp on the regular man or woman who knows who and what they are, what they're not. But if you show up and say, I'm a hoe, well, then there's nothing to do but pimp on you. At some point, it's like, for God, we need this process. So you could say it's technically illegitimate and fraud, but spiritually, I think it's absolutely what we need right now. And it's going to lead to what we're seeing right here, which is conversations that lead to conversions, that lead to awakenings, that lead to change, to understanding.
Yep. That's exactly what we want. That's the reason for these live streams and these videos. Otherwise, it's all a lost cause anyway. And just for the algorithm records, the 10th Amendment says the power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it, that's the Constitution, to the states, or reserved to the states respectively or to the people. And the spirit of the letter of that law, the spirit of that letter is that if one state became so oppressive, like if Florida became too oppressive, then people could go to Georgia or Alabama to escape that oppression. Whereas if you have a federal blanket of authority subjecting the citizens to servitude, they could escape to another region. Whereas, if you're under the federal jurisdiction, that's not going to happen.
Right. But this is the idea in 8th grade. They told us about checks and balances. That if we're going to call this a united endeavor, again, this is where we have the overlay of the corporation. But if we're just going to talk what we believe it is, if we have a united endeavor, well, then we're all united under that spirit of that law. Right. That's not what's happened. Right. We're all united under the propaganda of what we call law, which is statute, policy, and code, and fascism, the merger of state and corporate powers. So the Constitution and the rights from God that it protects, doesn't grant them to you, it protects that, are only as good as the people who can ascertain the law of God and live it.
Right.
If not, what good is the damn document?
Right.
It's just like the Bible, man. What good is the Bible if a motherfucker can't come to have the experience with God? Every time he comes to a point in life, he's got to stop and open up the book and look in there to have the experience that's written about. It's redundant. It's superfluous. It's more than what's necessary at this point. This is our problem. We need constitutions and books and all the rest of it because we've not lived a first-hand full experience with that force we call God and truth. We're so pimped out and deceived and delusional that we got to keep going to deceivers and corrupt corporations and frauds and remix books in order to know who and what we are. That's not how it happens, right? So again, you can't solve a problem with the same level of consciousness that created it. It doesn't matter what I give modern day man. They will always continue to create their slavery because as the mind and heart goes, the man follows. The change is only going to happen from within, right? Be the change you want to see in the world. As within, so without, as above, so below. Once enough individuals, as you saw yesterday, Brian, I sent you the thing. They just said, we're no longer pulling people over for traffic infractions, and we're definitely not bringing you to jail. Is it a coincidence, or is it because all of us finally, certain ones of us said, we're out. We're not complying. We're not obeying. We know the difference between legal and lawful, and we're going to continue to do this. You're going to have to keep locking us up. And at some point they go, yeah, we're going to have to change the way we approach this. That's how this change happens. You got to put yourself on the gears of this system, and you got to stand on what's true and what's right and be on the right side of history. If you don't, it's probably going to get worse, or you're just going to sacrifice folks like me in hopes it'll get better, in which case you trick yourself out of an authentic experience. Do you want to be a real man or woman here or not? There's nothing else to do as far as I'm concerned in this simulation.
Amen. And just to echo what you said, from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks and the body reacts, and whatever's in your heart is what's going to be fleshed out in your daily life. Let's just a couple more minutes here with Ernie.
Turn him up. Are you all the way up on sound?
Yeah, it's all the way up. Jeez,
A bit low.
Yeah. Can you hear it okay? Kind of?
Here, send it again.
I am not registered.
Full send, bro.
I am the living man, and I have the right to forage for.
I can barely make it out. It's a bit low.
All right. But you're here on different charges.
That
This
is
is not
what
Holly
stands.
Brown's courtroom.
Ma'am, you can argue this all day long. You're operating on
I'm telling
corporate fiction.
I'm telling you, you're here on some charges which will file in the report.
I do not
Number
understand
one.
those charges.
Number one, you keep interrupting me, and I'm going to charge you with contempt, and you'll go to
All
jail.
contempt of court is spelled C-O-double-N. I know that, Connie. That's not.
I love this guy. You know what? Maybe on another live stream, can you guys let me know if you guys in the chat room can hear? Paul's having trouble hearing it, and I am too. It's real low, but I've got it all the way up on this YouTube channel. Let's see if I can find another.
You know what it reminds you of, Brian? There's a point in time in every man's life, whether it's with their mother or father, that they try to use the same false authority, or maybe at one point true authority they had when they were younger. And at some point, you just stop going for it. And at that point, you realize all in one moment, you never had to go with it from the beginning, right? Like there comes a point in every man's life where it doesn't matter what your mother or father's telling you. If you don't stop talking right now, X, Y, Z, yeah, I'm going to do whatever it is I please now because I'm grown. No offense. Don't take it personal. You should be proud of this moment, right? If you look at it that way, you start to understand the power dynamic of what's going on here. Only because you keep submitting do they keep believing they have authority over you and keep giving you the consequences. You know, ask any teacher or parent or whoever with me at some point. There came a point where they stopped giving me consequences because I just wasn't going to yield. I'm going to do what I want. The consequences don't scare me anymore. And you're not going to tell me when I can and can't express myself in open court where this is by and of and for the people. See, that's the difference. And it's not about being belligerent and combative and contemptuous either. It's about understanding the true dynamic of what we're here to do and what's going on here today. Right. So
let me ask you, what's been the biggest hurdle that you've had to overcome in correcting your status? What was the most trouble that entered your life by people who believe the corporate fiction nonsense that you've had to deal with trying to unplug from this matrix?
I mean, I don't look at it that way. I choose to look at it as this is what's made me who and what I am and continuing to make me. So I don't look at it as a detriment. I look at it as putting my time in and making my bones, so to speak. In any society, you kind of got to do the dirty work and have bad shit happen to you or around you in order to make who and what you are, right?
Right.
Kind of like the code of men. It's kind of like, you know, like the mob in a sense. But I mean, if you were going to characterize it like how the average person would, I'd probably say getting the car taken a bunch of times, getting all the property taken, guns, you know, having to navigate that and just push to get that back. But ultimately, I'd have to tell you that I guess the most trying thing as a human, right, as a man, I still have some level of feelings at times or disappointment. I think the most trying thing is realizing that the majority of folks around me don't seem like they ever want to or are going to engage in this, right? It's like it wouldn't be as much of a problem if it's really not a problem to me because I feel like it's what my purpose is, what God put me here to do. But I wouldn't feel as much about it if I had my friends, my family, my father, just the few folks in my life or even on here actively doing more to be the change and walking with me, right? At times I feel kind of alone. And I suspect that also is part of this journey and what it's supposed to be, like the Christed being. Probably felt alone at times. right? And that's what pushed him to grow in faith. Because the circle at the end of the day is so small. It's you and whatever that creative force is and your conscience. Everything might leave you. You might have to give everyone and everything up to be given everything back in truth and faith. So yeah, I have to take a philosophical and stoic approach to my life, even especially when things are going quote unquote bad or wrong. Because I just presume in those moments, this is what the fuck is making me for the future. Adversity makes men, prosperity makes monsters.
Something I've wanted to ask you for a while and watching a lot of your videos. What do you mean by Christed being? Where does that term come from? What does it mean?
A conscious, aware being who has some level of self-awareness and awareness of conscience and the law within the universe and a connection to life and the universe and that law.
Like a being apart from humanity?
Yeah, a being who's in the world but not of it, right? My kingdom is not of this world. I'm in this world, but I'm not of it. I don't follow the ways of the world. From the beginning of time, from me being here, I have not followed the ways of the world. I've been at odds with all forms of authority. Because to me, it's illegitimate. Can't ever tell me legitimately what to do and not do and substantiate it. That's what your will is. We're here to do God's will, not your will or my will or anyone else's. So when I say Christed being, I just mean a being who has awareness of self and therefore knows God and then everything in the universe to some degree true enough. If not, they at least have the intuition that leads them to that. Right? So it ain't about the whole truth. I don't think anybody has the whole truth. It's about true enough.
Well, let me. You know what? We're gonna finish this thing with Ernie, yeah, because I want to get to the part where he really starts going off on the judge. But and then I want to say something else I think is important. So let's watch some of this.
These charges, I only understand universal law and the right to live.
Well, you
To
pled
live
not
at peace
guilty.
and to live as I need to.
You pled not guilty in this.
I
court.
never plead. Animals plead. Sound like, bah, oink, oink.
I have a paper with your signature on it, sir.
It says prime evidence standing right through it. You bring forward all natural forms of evidence that I'm not prime evidence. I am the living soil. The dirt, the water, and the air has its own voice, does it not? It all supports
Sir?
forms of life, does it not? I am a part of that life. I am not your corporate fiction.
Sir,
Do not hinder me.
you're here today on an omnibus hearing. You've already pled not
I am
guilty.
here by special visitation to see to it that you do not hinder my natural living man's name.
Are you prepared
That's why
to tell
I'm
the
here.
court if you wish to go to trial on this matter?
This is a trial. Tell
No,
me
this
it's not.
isn't a trial.
Here's my
This is
jury
an
of my
omnibus
peers.
hearing, sir.
You cannot produce a jury of my peers because all juries are selected from a pool of registered voters. And the instant a person registers to vote, their natural ability is a peer to comprehend natural law has been dissolved and turned into fiction. There cannot be raised a jury of my peers. It cannot be done.
I told the same thing to the administrator at Colorado State Court. He finally got to a point with me. He goes, well, you could take this to trial if you want. We're going to bring in a jury of your peers. I go, what does that consist of? He goes, 12 United States citizen slaves. I go, I got to stop you right there. Doesn't make any sense. You're going to bring in 12 folks who voted for Joe Biden to make a decision objectively on right from wrong? I don't think that's going to work out too well for me. Right? So they don't know where to go. When you just use common sense and point out the obvious that's not so obvious to the majority of folks who just go along to get along, glazed over. Like, yeah, how are you going to go get 12 people who are like me, who can understand right from wrong objectively, legal versus lawful, natural rights versus privileges, to make a determination of whether I actually did wrong or you just all believe I did wrong based on what school told you and TV told you, right? You're dealing with mentally, emotionally ill people who listen to the TV. Is really what this comes down to, living a collective hallucination.
So, okay, so you've unearthed something else here. So what's your view on the concept of jury nullification? It's nonsense.
Ultimately, man, God is my judge. And unless you're going to bring in someone who I live in a community with, who is directly impacted by my actions, who can make a determination on what I did was common for me and the common practice of that land, right? The law of the land is the law of the people who live on the land.
Mm-hmm.
There are lands when you go there where it's culturally accepted that we're going to cut off a woman's genitals because God told us to. Now, you bring that person to another land, they're going to say, this is insane. This is criminal.
Right.
Right. So on some level, the common law becomes common practice. Whatever the people accept on that land to be true for them becomes essentially the law of that land, whether it's legitimate objectively logical, moral, ethical or not, right? So that's kind of, what we have here is we got a bunch of folks who've been trained to believe stuff that are going to be brought in to make a judgment, which is ultimately God's, on a man's behavior that might be common practice for him, right? There's plenty of times in life where we have a different in ethics, but no loss, injury, or harm is caused, and you can't claim somebody did a crime because they don't have the same ethic compass that you do, right? On that level, 1,000 years ago, you could bring in 12 people and have somebody stoned because they decided to lay down with the same sex. I don't buy into that. Right. So we're going to bring in 12 people to be the judge that God is, to take life that's not ours to take, that God gave, because someone doesn't have the same ethical compass as us. Right. Absent any loss, injury, or harm or non-consensual behavior, no man or woman has an ability to rule or judge over anybody else and condemn them to a fate that is not authentically prescribed by what we call God in the universe and fate objectively, apparently.
And to echo that, it's no measure of good mental health to be considered well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. So if society is profoundly sick, why would you want a jury of your peers presiding over your case, whatever you call it?
Oh, I have no problem. If you want to bring in 12 folks who understand common law, the difference between legal and lawful, understand a republic versus democratic communism and fascism, you want to bring in 12 people like that, they'll make a determination all day, every day. Paulie Boy did no wrong. Right. As a matter of fact, he's a leader in our community and in our society. And not only do we not want him harmed, we want him to be given commendations.
So this concept of jury nullification is basically self-defeating, because you're not going to find those kinds of people. If you don't even have people like that in your zone of influence who could vouch for your stellar reputation, then you're not going to find them out in society.
Well, this is why they're perfect at creating societies where folks are disintegrated, because you and your neighbors don't talk. You and your coworkers don't decide policy or live by the common law and commune together or converse about these things. So if you're completely independent and disintegrated, so much so, many of these folks are married to folks who don't even live like them. They're sleeping with the enemy. How many folks hit me up and go, my significant other who I have a child with is a complete slave? Well, you picked them. What were you doing? What were you selecting for in the mating process, right? So again, when you have a disintegrated community, you have disintegrated selves, either one coming before the other or vice versa, right? So this is why I say this is a back to the land, quote unquote, movement, non-movement. You got to get back on the land, live within your means, be debt-free, self-sufficient, and surround yourself with like and kind folks to commune with in your community. Then when you get hauled into local court or whatever court, you're going to be judged in the system by your peers. Right. Go ahead. Let's bring in the community of Unslavia to judge if Brian or whoever did something wrong and we're going to take his property or his body. Of course not. If he didn't cause any loss, injury, and harm, and he doesn't know a debt, then he's free to leave, free to stay, free to leave, like they like to say.
All right, let's continue on with Ernie here, because this is almost over.
Excuse me for just a moment.
No way. Get back here and finish this. Hey, get back here and finish this.
I love
The judge has left the courtroom. There you go.
Abandoned ship.
There is nobody in this courtroom. The judge has walked out. I said no excuse.
Everybody up and out.
I'm not letting you
Up and out. Up and out. Up and out. Oh, man.
Thank you.
I think that's pretty much it. I think they all go out to their cars and they just leave, but he gets arrested later. And I don't remember. Do you remember the results of the case?
Oh, I don't even know if I ever got the complete results. I mean, to me, oftentimes the results don't matter as much as getting who and what you are on record and surrendering the rest. They can say and do whatever they want at this point.
Yeah.
Come down to discretion.
Hey, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question about the term that people constantly throw around. And I think Artie did it to you on Artie's Corporate Fiction. He called you or alluded to the fact that you might be a sovereign citizen. What's your comment about that?
Well, I mean, obviously what we've come to know that I've repeated over and over again till essentially, I mean, I'm sure others have too. I'm not laying claim to it, but it's now become the common knowledge in the quote unquote auditor community that these folks are the sovereign citizens because they keep claiming that they're above the law of the land and the law of God. and that if they just put on a costume, they can do whatever they want. So ironically, once again, in the projection deception simulation, all the people calling us that are actually doing what they're calling us, right? That's that projection thing, that narcissism thing that a lot of these folks like to do. You got to watch that. So yeah, it turns out all the folks who are like doing whatever they want and profiteering and not upholding the law of the land and rights are the actual sovereign citizens.
Well, I wanted to keep this at an hour and a half because that's basically the attention span of America as far as, viewing live streams all the way through the beginning. I think this is such an important thing that people need to watch this. And I want to have you back because I want to have more discussions on this. I appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate all the criticism because it's going to make me a better person. I'm not where I want to be, but hopefully I'm a better person tomorrow than I was today and on into the future. So that's the only way this is going to happen. I don't like to have these live streams where there's no point to it, where people aren't going to learn from it and their lives aren't going to be changed. I think that you said a lot of life-changing things in this video. How do you want to end this?
I think we're good to go, Brian, man. I respect you. You kept it real with me. You shoot straight, regardless of disconnects at times or misunderstandings. I think that we're all here in these communities bonded by a common purpose, a common meaning, a common principles and value system. Whether or not we're living that all the way individually, that's the judgment on the man. We all individually got to look at ourselves and make a decision on that in conscience. So yeah, man, I don't judge you. I don't condemn you. I'm just here to be a leader in self. And if by proxy, I can help to lead others back to themselves and to a more true enough state of beingness and record, well, then in a sense, indirectly, I'm helping to save souls, right? That's what this is all about. Yep. I don't call myself a Christian, but if you look at it archetypally, what we're talking about here, it's bearing witness and testimony in order to save my and others' souls from what we're on record as being a part of and co-creating from and with and through, right?
And that is true. And in my view, that is truly the righteous action. And I don't think it's my view. It's the universal view that if you act like that, you are truly being a righteous being.
You got to be like that. If you're not doing that and holding to that, you will undo yourself, is what I've learned. The same way an addict has to go back to treatment centers to talk to other addicts about what he's living in his life and all the perils and challenges. That's what keeps you on the path. Holding yourself and others accountable and showing up for yourself and others and speaking this truth and this experience and then surrendering the rest and seeing what we all do with it, right? So I think we almost need to do that and be a part of that in order to keep ourselves on the straight and narrow and level it up.
And if you're watching this on this live stream, whatever platform you're on, X or Facebook or whatever, this is Paul Unslaved. He's got 2 channels right now. It's Proper Instruction Motivates People. I am subscribed to his channel. I'm on Google Chrome and I'm not subscribed to anybody in Google Chrome. And the next one is Paul Unslaved, which has 21,000 subscribers. And he has been algorithmically, artificially suppressed into the bottom of the trash can, basically, as far as YouTube is concerned. Paul, but at the end of this, give me the links that people can contact you at, the Cash Apps and all that kind of stuff. And I'll make sure that I put them under all the videos. But where's the best way for people to contact you or reach out to you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have the at Pimp Unslaved channel now, secondary channel. That's
okay,
probably the best option. And then of course I have the Telegram, which also seem to be altered in numbers. I people join every day, yet I lose numbers every day. So not too sure what to make of that. But yeah, that's where we're home base right now. Proper Instruction Motivates People. And yeah, we'll take it one day at a time.
All right, guys. Hey, hang out with me real quick, Paul. I'm going to end this live stream, but I want to keep talking with you. All right, guys. All right. I appreciate you, Paul. Thanks for joining. Guys, thanks for joining this live stream. We will have Paul on again. I can promise you that, as long as I have life in my lungs. And thanks for joining. If you haven't already, share this video and like this video and overcome all the algorithmic suppression, because, man, let's face it, people do not want you to know this truth, and we know why. So, Paul, thanks a lot. We will see you guys
Thank you, Ryan.
in the live stream. Take care.
All right. What a fantastic interview, man. Wow. That was epic. What's up, Sean?
Hanging, man. Hanging. It's great stuff.
Oh, okay. So I got two of you up here. Is this what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I got one open on browser and one open on the phone.
Okay. All right. So I'm just waiting for Mr. Unslavius to go live, and we'll portal on over. Oh, there we go. So I guess I'll end this with a musical thing. Hold on a sec. I'll just pause this, and there we go. What's up, dude? All right, for everybody who's still watching right now, we got OTW Music and Art tonight, karaoke night, whatever, you know the drill, talent show. It's the music thing I'm doing once a week now, so everybody make sure you're subbed up to OTW Music and Art. Obviously, I'll be restreaming over here in OTW News for anybody who wants to contribute via Super Chat or whatever, and want to like have any special requests and stuff like that. So be sure to be here tonight at OTW Music and Art, and OTW News will be broadcasting live for a music talent show. And what was I going to say? Something like, I guess, see it. Oh yeah, 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock Eastern time, which I believe is, I don't know what time everywhere else in the world, but Sean knows what time it is. You know, it's like 8 o'clock. At his place is pretty much 8 o'clock, right? So when I say 8 o'clock, he knows that 8 o'clock we're going live doing music, right, Sean? So how's that laptop of yours doing? How's your sound doing? How can we troubleshoot you right now before you come on over this evening, sir? Unless if you're busy and you're working or something.
Yeah, give me 1 sec. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a few seconds even. So he's even thinking of ending it with a. I was wondering, why is my sound seemingly testing 1 2? All right, okay, sounds good.
Okay, sorry about that. I was talking to doctor. What were you asking me? My bad.
I was saying, are you going to be able to have your laptop working correctly? I was like, can we troubleshoot that right now so that you can come in and do some like awesome karaoke? Is there any way we can do that? Or are you like,
Why not?
all right? So what do you have set up to do like karaoke on your laptop? Like, how do you do that?
What do you mean, like
Well,
recording
because
wise, or?
the way I'm thinking about it is, you don't necessarily have to put the karaoke up on screen. You know what I'm saying? Just have the music play and share the music, like the audio. What's this? OTW tell him yeah, whatever. I saw that comment.
Wildlife school. Wildlife school. Um. Okay, so tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do.
Do you have a mic plugged into your laptop?
I do not, but this is what my sounds like without headphones. Oh wow! All right.
Right, but you
So
need
that
to have
sucks.
headphones. You're absolutely have to have a headphones on.
Okay, how about this? This is without. This is on a phone, not on the laptop. This is probably better, right?
Yeah, maybe, but how are you going to play the music?
I mean, I could just, if my sound is that is if my sound's that good, then I don't need headphones essentially. Unless there's feedback, reverb, or any of that kind of shit. But I mean, this is a decent phone, dude. It's like a Google Pixel.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how we're going to have you sing over a song.
Depends
Unless
what
you're the
song
one.
it is.
Well, it's because it's usually when you're doing karaoke like by yourself, you use your laptop and then you just sing without a mic, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
usually.
there
Well,
you
I
go.
switch. I switch back and forth, kind of to see, what works better. And
You know what I don't understand is how come you haven't ordered from Amazon a freaking broadcasting kit which costs like something like $40 American?
oh, you mean like that one you showed me that one time?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
can
it's
get that from you.
you
It's
know
like
you would have had a mic and everything plugged right into the laptop. It's like fucking simple as you know. No more sound issues. No more no more nothing. Everything's in there. It's a $40 setup.
yeah.
Comes with the mic and everything.
What is it called again? Like the specific? Can you send me the link again? I think you had
Oh
dropped it
my
one
god,
time.
that is like so old, man. That was so long
Yeah,
ago.
that was like fucking half a year ago, probably.
Just check it out. Broadcaster
Mic
mic and
setup.
soundboard or something.
Yeah, let me see. Oh damn. Paul started. Let me see.
I think. Oh, it's
Bro,
called. I think TikTok
TikTok.
setup or something, or YouTuber setup or something. It's a stupid name, but it's like it's so like it works. I've seen it work. I've actually seen the product. It functions perfectly.
YouTuber
Okay,
broadcaster
so
mic
it's like
setup.
you're not like just buying something and you think you're gonna receive some kind of piece of shit. No, no, no. It actually works. So
But wasn't there a specific like one? I think there was two that you said were that I remember you recommended that you I wanted the 49 or decent. Can't remember. Nutty. Uh, that's OBS mics. Blue Yeti again. I wish that was fucking Blue Yeti mics. HyperX Solocast? Man, I'm trying to remember the fucking name. Sure setup? Nah, that one's probably expensive. That shit looks bougie.
just did you find anything?
I just looked up YouTuber broadcaster mic setup, but I don't see.
Try
Maybe if I
TikTok.
let me add TikTok. TikTok,
Yeah, just no,
YouTuber.
don't add TikTok. Just like reduce it to like TikTok, soundboard and mic, something like that. Something really short. You'll find it.
Soundboard and mic setup.
Well, not setup, just soundboard and mic.
Okay.
Keep it simple.
All right, let's see. TikTok, soundboard and mic. I brought up a soundboard, like my instance.com, you know. TikTok live studio voice changer and soundboard. That just sounds like a fucking app.
No, dude. Did you just type that in Google?
I'm on Bing, I think. Yeah, I'm on Bing.
No, it's type it in Amazon.
Oh, wow, I'm
Doofus.
retarded. I might be retarded. I'm kind of retarded.
I'm kind of retarded.
Right. All right. A Labs FX Caster Podcast Equipment Bundle. Yeah, let me just go to Amazon. Amazon Podcast Equipment Bundle BM800 recording. That's a shitty rating though. Yeah, this one's got a 4.4. Might be better. I got my grandma on some Marinol. You know about Marinol?
Nope.
It's synthetic, like THC essentially. Supposed to like
Really?
stimulate appetite. Take help with pain and dizziness and nausea and shit. She has all that. Holy crap! This one's almost 200. No sir. Let me see.
40
This
bucks, dude.
one's
It's supposed to be 40 bucks.
40
The
bucks.
mic, the soundboard, the wires. I think it even comes with a pair of headphones, I think. I'm not sure.
Okay, this one. Let me see this one. This is troubleshooting hour.
Yeah, it's troubleshooting hour, ladies and gentlemen. Go on over to Proper Instruction Motivates People. We're just checking out Sean's shit so we can have a decent have actually Sean have a decent sound.
What a
Even when
thought.
he shows up on broadcast with a great mic and some earphones and shit, and no feedback noise and shit, and he'll actually be able to use his laptop for something.
What a fucking thought. TikTok, soundboard, and mic. Let's see, TikTok. It's like a mini little soundboard, right?
Right, it's small. It's a box. It's no bigger than like it's about
Oh,
this
here we go.
this
Okay.
it's about this size.
Yep. Yep. Okay. I see 50, 40,
There
40.
you go. There you go. There you go. Click add to cart and fuck buy it and have it by tomorrow. There
What do
you
you
go.
think
That's it right there, man. That's the one.
that one?
I
Yeah,
think
it's got a
so.
4 out of 5. That's decent. Damn, it's got a lot of fucking ratings, dude.
Dude,
4,500 ratings.
I've seen it work for myself, dude. Dude, I'm telling you, it really works well. The $40 kit is enough, man.
Yeah, that's probably the best one because it has the most ratings, so it must be popular for a reason, I would think. Then again, a lot of popular shit is shit. Some of the most popular stuff is the worst shit, but in this case, maybe there's something to it. There's so many fucking to choose from.
If I was to start, let's say starting to broadcast and do like YouTube shit and whatever TikTok stuff, that's what I would start with. If I had nothing, all the shit I have is equipment that I've been fucking already collecting over the years. So it's not like, and I'm still missing, like, I'd love to have a Rodecaster Pro 2, which is like $900, but I guess I have to wait till I have enough money to. Be nice if people would contribute so the broadcast could get better.
Yeah, come
Because
on, guys. I mean,
every
support the
cent
grift, dude.
that people would give here, I'd actually put right back into the broadcast.
Yeah, support the grift, non-grift. Yeah, I mean every penny I've made from quote unquote podcasting, broadcasting, non-podcasting, broadcasting has gone into streaming, and actually a lot of it is still saved. So a lot of it hasn't even been invested yet. So it will go into this. I've been pushing it off for a long time. Admittedly, I've been procrastinating. I've been kind of Jewy, I've been kind of Jewy as well. Oh man, that one's pretty badass. $70. Yeah, I think I'll just start with the simple setup though. It's got a good rating. It's $40 fucking dollars. I also have to set up, something like a Venmo, a Zelle, something like that. Yeah. Hold on one sec. That one right there, top right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my peeps got Prime, so use the Prime too. Look at that, 33% off.
There you go, man. Just grab the fucking thing. You're going to pay it like $25, $30. It's going to be super cheap. How much off? 33% off?
33% off. Yeah, it's $40, so it'll be. Oh no, wait, it's $60. Marked down to 40.
Whatever, $40. It's worth it, man. You get the
Apply
soundboard.
20% coupon.
It has applause in it. It has fucking the bombs and shit. It has everything in there, man. So it's got the soundboard. It's got even voice effects. You can add echo to your voice and shit like that. It's got independent volumes to your mic, and it has the mic. It's got even the mic stand. This thing here, like this thing here. Obviously, it's a cheaper version. Mine's like a real one there, but
What is
matter,
Wizard
man.
saying bullshit about exactly? What's bullshit? And yeah, do you know any Creed songs?
Creed, no. I
By any chance, do you know any Creed songs at all that you can think of?
I could learn some. If that's what the special requests are all about, guys. If you guys pay, this is the grift non-grift. But actually, anyway, doesn't really matter because you're actually benefiting the channel. Like I said before, all the money that's donated to the channels, all put right back into it. So, right. So, like, let's say you want me to learn a song, you like to hear me play, like, I don't know, or a song from Creed that I don't know, then I'll learn it, right? Because you kind of like paid for it, so I can do that. So that's very loud. I'm gonna go fix that. So that's like supposed to be right on the money for the sound. So maybe all I have to do is bring it down a tad. All right, I just gotta go check the sound coming from.
Happy 333, son. Mr. OTW 333.
Yeah,
33 likes.
yeah, cool. 33. Let me just check out the sound.
Counting numbers. Zachary Hubbard. Goy Matria. Check out this prison, bro. It's lit. I'm in Rikers. Rikers Island. This is Dash. This is Dash. So much Mr. Dash. Something. Stacking, 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 stacking. Misses dashing.
My name is Robert Lucas, and I'm the creator of the Sweet Unpacked on Facebook.
What up?
What the fuck? Okay. Hold on. How's that sound?
Sounds pretty smexy, bro.
Just listen back.
Coming at you from the smelly of the smeast.
Yeah, I could have put in a little bit more guitar. See? All right, so I gave me a good idea. So now I know I have to bring up at least a little bit of the guitar. And Sean, so did you order the mic? Did you do that? Did you click add to cart and then paying and now it's on its way?
I added it to cart and it's saved in the tab so that when I have the ability to pay with the card, which I don't at the moment, then and apply Prime, of course. Slave Prime, Prime Slave, Amazon Slave
Right?
Prime.
Yeah.
Then I will order it. I'm gonna order that one that was in the top range, $40. It has the most reviews, and I would imagine it should take a few days, but I probably won't be able to order it until at the soonest.
Dude, you should have gotten that long time ago, man. When I sent that the first time to you, that particular ad, that was like the perfect thing. And you see, I'm like still saying it, like almost like I think it's like 6 months later or 7 months later.
You want to watch yourself saying it?
Yeah,
I'm just
no,
kidding.
not really.
Dude, I can't even tell you what's going on. It's just life is weird.
Right,
Life is weird.
it is.
People are strange
Totally
when you're a
weird.
stranger. People seem wicked when they're fucking insane.
Totally weird, man. You're like, that's it.
Totally weird, man.
You found the answer. We should end weirdness and awkwardness.
I
That
agree.
should be your life goal and mission, Snafu. Let's start a guru thing. Instead of ending wars in legal secrets, we'll go with what did I say?
I know you didn't just call me Snafu. I know that was a blunt.
No.
Practically like living in this fucking motherfucker at this point. This lady doesn't even want to like.
Watch it. You might walk into Snafu. Anyway, I got to end this broadcast, man.
All right, I'm gonna head to the pole.
Okay, guys. See you on over at Proper Instruction Motivates People. Adios.
Yeah, we could
Thanks for
jam
watching.
later. We could always jam on a after stream, or what do you call it? Whatever. Just not even, you could set up a private stream type shit, or whatever.
Yeah. All right, bro. Let's get out of here.
Nice cheeks, man. Nice cheeks. But yeah, check out this view. This is actually where I popped out, bro, at this damn hospital. Fucking in the courtyard here. Probably $1 billion fucking hospital, dude. Honestly, easily. At least few hundred million dollar hospital. Fucking insane. I got my Moonstock shirt on, bro. My Ozzy. There's someone. But yeah, anyway. Appreciate you, bro. Good stream.
All right.
From what I thought. Good idea playing that stream from yesterday too. I was actually gonna do the same thing because it was a good talk, man. Was that you that I was in the stream with, by the way? I was showing the butterflies everywhere. Like literally, this whole fucking place is filled with butterfly symbolism, dude. Monarch
Wow.
butterfly symbolism everywhere, every floor. Mind control
Wow.
symbolism everywhere, dude. It's insane.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, fucking gnarly. Literally
Yeah.
every picture, I think every picture is a butterfly. It's amazing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
There was something else too. I can't remember. I don't remember if it was the lotus somewhere, butterfly in front of the lotus, like how Kamala gave the Pope the lotus at the Vatican. Butterfly. It's everything, dude. It's like, come on, nothing else, just butterflies. What is this? No, there's nothing to it though. It's probably just coincidence. Oh, okay, there you go, flowers. 9 out of 10 pictures are fucking butterfly. Is the point. Anyway, Snafu won't. Does he ever walk around the hospital, or does he just stay in his room when he pops on stream? But yeah, dude, Sundowners is a bitch, dude. It's basically a form of dementia where, like, sundown gets way fucking worse. And, literally, like, hallucinations, fucking, delusions grandeur. It's fucking insane, bro. Imagine seeing someone on fire. She literally saw someone lighting someone on fire and said they're burning them up and fucking. Dude. Yeah. I need to read for this. Peace and love, brothers.